For those I haven't met, my name is Dave Sweet. I'm the president here at MECCO. This will be my 18th year here at MECCO. So very excited for you guys to join us today. Thank you for coming out. One, obviously to tour around MECCO, and that's what we're going to do here with Bill Holtzman, who's our Director of Sales and Marketing. And so one, thank you for coming out today. Two, celebrating our 135th year anniversary, which is pretty cool. Yeah. And Bill and I will talk a little bit about the history of MECCO along the tour. And then, yeah, just an opportunity for us to also break bread, have some good barbecue coming, get some good stories, build some good relationships, and really showcase, one, what we do, but really most importantly, how can we best help you along your part marking journey. So things that, we have a lot of folks here in the Blue MECCO, all of us very knowledgeable on products, applications, so anything that you guys have and see, hopefully will spark some good ideas that you'll see out on the floor, you'll see in our labs, you'll spend some time with Carol in our applications lab as well. So it's really just a great opportunity for us to work together. Like I said, have some good times and then spend some time in the lab. And I think probably what we're going to do is we'll break up into two groups. So I'll lead one group, Bill will lead the other group. Yes. His will be more fun, mine will be more interesting. All right, so we'll get started. So as I mentioned, we're celebrating 135 years here at MECCO. We first started really in the hand stamp business. So we were making the Cadillac of hand stamps, so just beware, it's the primo hand stamp. So we started off as M.E. Cunningham Company, so Miles E. Cunningham, so that's what MECCO stands for. And we did hand stamps, we did sundries, other type of like press stamps for many, many years. Obviously a Pittsburgh steel company. Spent many years in the steel mills marking lot numbers, part numbers for traceability in steel. And it really grew the company from there. It was a family-owned business for about 3 generations. Spiker family bought it, I would say in the early 20s, and really then started pushing hand stamps. And so there's at one point, Pittsburgh was the marking capital of the world. So there's another company called Matthews International. They were kind of the big hub back then. And then there was MECCO, and there's another local friendly competitor, Peen. And so the Spiker family went off, purchased M.E. Cunningham Company, and then the Peen brothers went off, started Peen. They do a lot, a little overlap, but a lot in tagging. And our group was really, all 3 companies worked really well together. We purchased steel together to get our prices down. I think in the early 30s, there was MECCO was located downtown Pittsburgh in the Strip District. There was a flood that flooded the building out, and then after it dried out, a spark hit and burnt the whole building down. And what was really cool was the folks from Matthews and the folks from Peen all cleared out space on their floor to help MECCO get back into the business in the early 30s. So it's been a very cool community of folks in the area, and it's really kind of where we got birth from, was really the hand stamps. And we did this business for about almost 100 plus years. And when I joined the company, it was in 2005, and MECCO was maybe about 10 miles south of here in Franklin Park. And so we were a machine shop. So we were machining the hand stamps. We were also had a line of Peen product, which you guys will see today, so more of the hand stamps. So folks that were hand stamping, taking that beating, would then move to Peen, so more of a metal stylus. And we represent that product. That product is made in Spain. And we've been their exclusive distributor for over 30 years in the US and Canada. And so folks on that marking journey would start with hand stamp, would eventually move over to Peen, and then may, as you'll see here, move over to laser. When I joined the company in 2005, my background, I'm a mechanical engineer. I spent about 5 years doing machine design. My first job was laser marking systems. So it's pretty much what I know and probably the only thing I know. So I started doing machine design, got into sales, and then found MECCO, where I came in and helped them launch this century's worth of technology with laser. And so we then, about 2008, we had taken the marking, or at least the laser portion, to over 50% of our business. And that's where we decided to sell the hand stamp business to a local friendly competitor. And our focus there was really, in our story, is how we take this old company that originated in the Pittsburgh steel mill, doing hammer and chisel, and then getting us into one laser technology. And then what you'll see on the floor too is a level of automation. So we're working with manufacturers, and when we first started, you could really say, why is MECCO even in laser marking? There was already a saturated market, plenty of competitors out there. Why do we need another laser marking company or another Peen marking company? And what we found was, hey, it's great for folks that need a tool, like hand stamp, a Peen, or laser. But a lot of our customers were looking for more than just what you could get out of the catalog. And we spent a lot of time working with our customers. It's something that we call like the MECCO experience, where we want to partner with you guys. We want to understand what your marking application is, because, hey, one size fits all. We do have that product. You'll see it on the floor. But a lot of our customers are looking for something a little bit more, whether it's a custom fixturing or tooling, whether it is some level of automation. You'll see different machines that we have out on the floor with levels of conveying belts. We've done pick and place robots. We do a lot of software integration as well. So a lot of that is what our customers were really looking for, that solution. And that's what really kind of how MECCO came into that laser marking market, with that sense of, hey, our customers are looking for more than just the catalog marking device. How can we participate in that and provide what we call a automated workstation? So what you'll see out here are automated workstations. And then if there are folks that, hey, we need a much bigger line, let's say doing some assembly, then that's where we'll work with a machine builder. So what we're really good at are OEM lasers and OEM Peens and integrated workstations. And those could be from a very basic, open the box, put the part in, close the door, mark, to what you'll see on the floor, a lot of the, like I said, higher end automation, connecting to your database, things like that. But it's a very humble beginning, starting off in the Pittsburgh, like I said, Pittsburgh steel mills, hammer and chisel away from a traceability perspective. So I did cover, we have laser, you'll see on the floor. We also have Peen. You'll have an opportunity to see the Peen machines. And then we'll also take you into our photonics lab. So in 2020, we had an opportunity to purchase the company that we had, were using their laser marking software. And so a small group out of Massachusetts, and we had the opportunity to acquire them. And so we now, in addition to, let's say, the hardware side, we also now control the software and the control electronics, which for a company our size is very rare. For someone that actually owns the whole piece of the puzzle. And so that's something that we've been very excited about. I'll take you through that part of the building as well. But that really, a lot of the times when we're doing some of the integrations, we're doing it outside of the software because we didn't own the source code. We had to do bolt-on middleware. Now we can do all of that inside our own software, which is a huge advantage, and we're not reliant on an overseas provider to offer service support and new features to our software. So it's a big advantage for us, and something that we've been excited about adding. I think in the lab you'll see our new 3D offering. we're starting to look at IoT, other types of technologies so that we can communicate back and forth. Because at the end of the day, we are all about traceability. How do you put barcodes, serial numbers, logos, identify those parts, and then track them throughout, whether it's internally through the process or externally. So if you have a barcode on the part there, you're able to scan that barcode in and then know the history of that part. So that's really been our focus, is how do we provide products and solutions in that market. So just a little quick here is on this side of the building, and what you'll see is when we first got here about 14 years ago, we were in this one bay, and it seems like every 3 years we just keep growing. So we took over this bay. This used to be, if anyone is horror movies, George Romero, his son Cameron Romero was in this space. So they were doing horror movies, interesting. Doing horror movies here, rock videos. When we took over this space, everything was blood red and black. So we took over that space. And then like I said, every 3 years we're taking on an additional space. And what you'll see is we just took over the final space in this building about late summer last year, and then been moving everything over so that we can start laying out the floor in a much more orderly fashion. So again, customer service, sales, accounting here, and then on this side is all engineering. So everything that you'll see out on the floor is designed by MECCO. So we have 3 mechanical engineers, we have 2 electrical controls engineers, we have, I think, 6 to 7 software engineers, 1 electrical engineer, and then we also have 3 systems integration engineers. And I think that's something also that's unique to MECCO, is that we have folks that are great in automation that work with you guys to develop what we call, hey Mark, Dave, that we work with our customers to develop that scope of work. And those system integration engineers then sit down with our engineering team to transfer and kick off that project. And then that team will also be the folks that will run off that piece of equipment. So they'll know exactly what it needs to do. They will ensure that it meets all the specs that we all agreed upon. And so they're really that engineering customer liaison to making sure that when we do a project, it's going to be done right the first time, and setting expectations and making sure, like, runoff here, runoff at your plant, it's going to be very, very smooth. So actually, I think you'll get to spend some time with Ian and some of the other system integration engineers on the floor as well. So that is this area. What we're going to do is we're going to move over to cut through here, and we'll go out to the production floor. All right, so this is, we have 2 of these machines on the floor. We have another one, which I believe maybe Blake will run us through. So we'll spend a little bit of time here, probably just spend a little bit more time since it's more of a completed unit. And as you can see, we'll do custom workstations that will integrate into your automation process, your manufacturing process. So like I said, whether it is an OEM laser or Peen that we're going to install on the line, or a simple work benchtop machine, if you're doing tags, small parts, to a fully automated workstation. So for this customer, they have conveying belts that are coming in here, moving product in, and then we are going to be pushing that product, locating that product. We need to make sure that the product is in the same spot every single time. This particular system will have 2 lasers, so we're marking the top of the product, then also on the side of the product. You then will mark a barcode, read that barcode, and verify that the information that we were told to mark is actually marked on the product. Once it gets a pass grade, then that part will shuttle out into the next part. So this is probably a good example of the most we're going to stretch what we do is probably a conveying type of system. But this is, I would say, really where we hit a home run is in this automated workstation. And you'll see some good examples here on the floor of some other machines that we're doing. But as you'll see is We do all the design, we do all of the builds. We don't do sheet metal and machine parts. We have local vendors that help us with that. But we then will assemble everything. As I mentioned, customer will come in. We'll do an agreed upon runoff here at MECCO. We then will go install that equipment at their factory site, and then we'll do a runoff with that customer to make sure everything is meeting spec and we're market parts. So this is a machine that's in process right now. This will actually have a rotary workstation. So we do a lot of 16-inch, 24-inch, 36-inch, and I think we've done up to 48-inch dial tables. So if you're looking to load your part, it rotates in, and while it's marking, you're unloading and loading that next piece in. This will definitely help speed up some of that processing time. So this particular unit, we actually going to have it's kind of like a double rotary. So we'll have the table mounted here. The customer will load the part. And what they're looking to do is actually mark on multiple sides of the part. So what you'll see here is this piece will come up and actually come up into the fixture, lift it off the dial, and then it will rotate 360 degrees so that we can mark on all four sides of that part, return it, and then the whole piece will then move back so that we can load and unload these parts. I know this system also too has an integrated vision system so that we're able to look at the part. So we do a lot on the vision side, above and beyond just, let's say, marking barcodes and reading barcodes. We've done vision systems where we are actually finding the part in the field. So we do have some applications where it's very specific. You have to be exactly in the exact place for those marks. So we'll use the vision system to find X, Y in rotation so that we then can adjust that in our software so that we mark perfectly on each part. And then we also, as I mentioned earlier, will then use that vision system to inspect the mark, make sure that we get a good grade, and all of the markings are there that we said we're going to mark, and give that operator a pass or a fail before they move on to the next application on the. So that is we're going to call it a double rotary on the station that we're building for a customer. So we do, like I said, we do a lot on the integrated side, but we also have, on this side is our LightWriter product. So this is kind of an opportunity for us to offer your base type of system. So this would be, if you're looking for a simple enclosure, either manual or automatic door, and we are looking just to put the parts in. The LightWriter product, as you'll see here, different sizes for different size parts. And or we also can do XY gantry systems here. We're trying to do trace parts. But Josh is our advanced laser technologist. Josh has been here for, actually, about 13 years. And so Josh, the laser expert, along with Alex here, who is our engineering manager for our standard products. So we here with Alex oversees this product design as well. But maybe Josh and Alex walk them through the LightWriter product.
Yeah. Yes, this is the 600, LightWriter 600 in the auto door configuration. So you load your part, press the start mark button, come down, close it so it's eye safe, then mark your part. There's limited number of lasers we can fit in this, and if you get to the 800, this will fit 4 lasers, 4 varieties of lasers. So we're using our 2.5D, our 20 watt, 50 watt, will all fit in this cabinet. This is also in the auto door configuration. They both come in manual to us, so if you didn't want the auto, you can manually lift it up, mark your part, close it, and it's coming airlocks to make sure you don't mark it without the eye safety. And this is our rotary system. So Dave explained it a bit on that side, but this is a LightWriter version of it. You load your part, it'll spin it around, and then mark the next part. You can kind of have continuous operation that way. And this is the better part of the tour where it's the giveaway section. So Josh will kind of demonstrate how that works. Laser safety glass, so you're not seeing a reflection, that's the actual other side. When he rotates this around, we'll be able to see it mark it.
Oh, cool.
we're going to go ahead and start the process. It is a longer process because we're doing a surface hardening or a heat treated surface mark. It's typically called anneal, so it's building up on the surface oxidation, which is almost pure carbon, and it comes out with some nice black mark, as you can see what this thing is. So how does that know what you did? So the laser is set up to run in what's called standalone mode. You don't need a PC or anything like that. You can push a job valve to it and let it run lights out, essentially. If you integrate, you'll see in the next stations coming up a robot to it. You can have pallets or trays feeding it, robot loading and unloading this thing. You can run without any other human input to the unit, which is super cool. Helps you, run at night when no one else wants to work, or you don't get real good workers in third shift, as everyone knows. It's always hard. Your numbers typically go down on the third shift.
He works third shift.
That's when you take naps. It is stainless steel, correct? So it has to do it every time of stainless steel or evaporating.
What's that?
This process is, so to do the annealing mark, it's stainless steel, titanium, anything with carbon steel is going to also work the same way. It's got a little heat left to it. But you can see, you guys can pass it around real quick. You're going to grab one here of your own too. For time purposes, we're just marking one, because you can see it's a process. You're heating up the surface. It's not a quick mark. Typically, you can go quick though with laser. You throw more power at it, and you can etch, you can frost mark white onto it. We want to take a moment here to introduce you to Blake. Blake is one of our system integration engineers. So as I mentioned earlier before, Blake is really that person that works with our customers to kind of envision and come up with that machine, what that solution is going to look like for your specific process. So Blake will walk you through typically a scope of work where we come together, define what we're going to do, set expectations, and as mentioned, Blake works with our engineering team, and then ultimately actually validates the machine and works with you on doing that runoff. So this is the second of the machines here. And I just asked Blake to maybe talk a little bit about the custom software that we've done on this machine.
Yeah, so for a lot of custom projects, we not only customize the system mechanically, Dave already talked about some features of these systems with the conveyors or the two lasers instead of one, and all those mechanical features, but we also do custom software, and that could be a component of a completely custom project, or it could be just a project that goes along with a standard piece of equipment as well. So in this case, we're doing a custom software to simplify our machine process and our marking data. One thing this customer has chosen to do is have a limited number of marking files, but then they have thousands of different products they can mark with those, and they need to change the data. So we put all that data in a database. It makes management of your data much easier. It really becomes an Excel sheet or a CSV file instead of thousands of marking files. And another thing we do is communicate with a number of IT systems for this customer. So we'll do a query in a pre-check to say, hey, this part, should it be at the marking station right now? It didn't fail previous operations. And then post-mark, we're also writing to that MES system to say, it passed our operation. We're also communicating with some serialization systems. We don't serialize these products. There's an algorithm that they use to help cut down on counterfeiting and gray market products. So we communicate with multiple production systems, but that's really all behind the scenes for our custom software, which is some of the advantage and beauty of it. We can use custom software programming to really make your operator interface as simple as it can be, as straightforward, as automated as it can be, but then we have a lot of connectivity and advantages that we can build in. on the back end. And if you want to have specific conversations or just questions if we've ever done this thing or that thing, just let me know.
What's the main scrape?
It's just a scan of, it shows the scan of the serial number for the product that comes in. So as a product enters this system, it has a label on it. We read that with an internal reader. Like I said, we then query a database. We get back a bunch of marking data. We go to the customer's IT system that controls the serial number. We get back this specific serial number we want to mark. Load that all up. We show a preview of what we're going to laser mark. And in this case, that process is all automated without an operator interaction other than hitting the start button. So really, for these systems, the operator is hitting a start button. All of the product movement, the laser movement, the laser, you can look inside one of these systems, is on an XYZ gantry to mark the larger products. And that's all automated as you go through the marking sequence, and then the product gets ejected. So it's really a physical start button for the operator, and the rest is automated.
So maybe good, like on this side is more what we call standard products. On this side, I would say highly custom systems. And just over the last year or so, we were trying to figure out, all right, if we have this standard product and we then take a bigger leap to customization, how do we get to configured solutions that might kind of be in that middle range where we could take a basic LightWriter, add some automation to it, but not have it where it becomes maybe cost prohibitive for certain customers of the, let's say, the volume of the work. So on the next stop, we're going to show you what we call the LightWriter Pro Connect. So it's really the middle. So it's the LightWriter, but with Allen Bradley PLC that allows us to easily port over levels of automation, and that could be rotary indexers, rotary dials. So it's, like I said, something where you can take an original LightWriter but quickly add some automation to it without having to take that big leap. And what you're going to see on this next system, working with our partner NAF to do just a pick and place robot machine tending of a LightWriter. So we'll take you here and introduce you to Peen.
Yeah.
All right, good morning, everyone. My name is Ian Conway. I am our engineering manager of our custom solutions. So we do the standard products, which built in this area you probably hear a little bit about already, maybe you hear a little more about. But then my team will take those and customize those for customers' needs, or even build completely custom solutions, as you just saw on the floor being built now with some conveyors and some part handling, multiple lasers, things like that. Here, what we're going to demonstrate today, this is an example of our Pro Connect. We have the base LightWriter, and then we have a step up called our Pro Connect. And the idea with the Pro Connect was, it was to take kind of a standard product that is a little bit more modular, to be more customized for our custom solutions group, or even for our customers or an integrator to take that machine and add some accessories or easily communicate with. So this system, we're demonstrating it with kind of a basic robot setup here to pick and place parts inside of the system. All the communication with this robot setup here is actually Ethernet IP communication. There's a lot of discrete I/O available on this system as well. So where our other systems might have a very basic level PLC, this system is going to have a contact logics PLC, be able to do more of that communication of every I/O point within the system to a line or even like a factory automation. So you could tie into this PLC, tied into your network and all of your machines on your floor, and have that visibility of what this machine is doing at all times. So if you get a chance, just to squeeze around at some point, not at this moment, but you can see on the back, this is our showcase model. So we have a little clear panel back there. You can kind of see our electronics inside this and showcase what we do and what makes us special. Again, a lot more I/O on this, all the Ethernet IP communication with this system. That's what makes this the Pro Connect. So this is our smallest model. We do the 600, the 800 size you see right there, and then that large model that you saw with the UV laser in at 1200. Those will all be available in the Pro Connect configuration. So I can run this for you. Right now, this system has the robot working with it, but we also have a 2D barcode reader built into this. And so the red light right now was indicating the last piece was a scrap part or a bad read, and it'll go green if we get a good mark. Now I don't see. It's like lately, it's hot. Yeah, there's a lot of doing that. I'm still exactly the time. That's enough. Colors, getting another day. Go right up. All out. Get it back. Get it. Is it bad? Not to say. I myself always super there. Special one. It's a military market thing. The name, and then along with the name is a barcode that has the name pushed to the barcode as well. So your name will be on there in text as well as in the barcode.
That's just kids going out.
So you can see the lightweight green that's set it back in here. So if I'm going to mark one of these rejects that is all marked up, we'll do the same thing again. About this will be a demonstration of what happens if you were to get a reject part, because the barcode's marked over multiple times. It will not read the barcode, and you'll see what happens if you were to get a bad part out of the system.
What they say? What you are using? Right. Yeah.
Thank you. So yeah, that's just one example of how this will be used. So we can see a lot of robot-tended systems. So this one could be set up, with a cobot here. You could be operating this manually for some parts, and then other times it might be robot-tended as well. So these are very flexible to be able to be programmed for those different situations. Very, like I said, very modular. So the reader in there, we have set up already an I/O port, power port, and an Ethernet port. You just plug the reader in. The system knows that you plug the reader in. So for basic barcode reading, pretty plug and play. Same with multiple axes. We have ports in the back to be able to plug in up to 3 axes of motion. So you see, you could do an X, a Y, a rotary, different things like that. Just plug them right into that system. Stack light to be able to be configured to do what you want. So again, if you get a chance, put your head around the back, kind of check out the kind of electricals we built into it. That has a contact logic, like I said, inside of it. And then any questions or anything, feel free to ask me.
Thanks, Ian. Appreciate it. Like Ian said, I think that a big takeaway here is spot Ethernet IP connectivity to our machines. So we are a Rockwell technology partner. So we developed our Ethernet IP base. So this is not Ethernet TCP IP. This is full Ethernet IP, add-on profile, add-on instructions, so that we can communicate directly to our respondents. So it makes that programming much easier. You're not having to learn our custom API. As long as you're using company's Logix or any of the Allen Bradley Rockwell PLCs, you can easily connect to programs you are the best. All right. Well, thanks, Ian.
You're welcome.
And then we'll snake through here. We're going to go into the laser lab.
And what we do here is we're building our OEM lasers. So these are the lasers that we will sell as just a laser itself that we'll sell to a customer that's looking to laser mark on their production line. We will also then take this laser and put it into the LightWriter or into a custom system. But what's really nice on these systems here, and kind of why I wanted you to come through here, is to look at really I would say about 10 years ago, it would take us about 2.5 days to wire up a laser marker. Now it probably takes you
Chassis I can do under 4.
just under 4 hours. It's pretty much a plug and play. Pre-made wire cable kits now. We own all of the IP here. So as I mentioned, we own the control technology that we acquired back in 2020. So all of the electronics is of our design, but it makes us so that, one, we can produce it rather quickly, but also if you're out on the field, the last thing you want to do is have to bust out a schematic to try to figure out what's wrong with the machine. For us, it's pretty quick and easy. We have error detection monitoring points in the system. It'll tell us the error, and we are then just replacing the boards quickly. Our job is to get you back up and running as quick as possible. Our job is not to try to figure out which component on the board is faulty. It is get you back up and running. So it's just a very easy plug and play. We even have some customers that will keep these as spare parts, and they'll go in, replace a board or a component. You'll start to see here, as I mentioned, we've been taking over each bay. Our big project of late is you're taking all, we had like point of use inventory that just seemed to walk around and I think at one time very well intentioned, but for us it just really wasn't meeting our needs. So what we then did is took all the inventory off the floor and have now moved it down to the final bay, which we'll walk through. So we're in the process now, as you see in this additional bay, we're starting to relay that out. But in this bay, we have shipping, and then we'll walk you through the Peen production as well. So as I mentioned before, this is a product that we are a distributor of. It's made in Spain, and like I said, they're exclusive distributor in the US and Canada. We have different size Peen systems for different areas of marking. This particular unit is one of our super fast series, so it moves left to right and then pivots in order to give us a much faster mark than a traditional XY gantry type marker. We do have those as well. Those typically are more for large tag marking, but this is usually good for 2D barcode and a few lines of human readable. So we sell a lot of these units into automotive industry, oil and gas, where you're looking to mark that barcode and a few lines of human readable. In addition to selling what we call U models or OEM models, like lasers, we also will do an integrated workstation. So Mike here is, Mike, how long have you been at MECCO?
44 years.
44 years. So he started here when he was young, one, and he is Mr. Peen. So Mike, can you walk us through a little bit of what this machine is doing?
Yeah, so it's called flange marker. This is actually a customer's part. There's going to be 4, it's pneumatic, and this is the guy that actually engineered it, everything. So there's going to be 4 posts that go in here, and the robot, it's going to be robot loaded. They're going to set that on there. They're going to hit the start. This will come out, like I said, it's pneumatic. And then it still has to have the cylinder here. And what this will do is as this turns, it'll mark around here, 360, and then it'll let go. The robot will grab it, set it on, and get it done. And this is the smallest unit. This is the one they integrate most. It's the U50, and it's just the smallest, easiest to integrate. A lot of them get integrated with that, and there's a lot of just standard ones too.
I would say 95% of what we sell is pneumatic-driven pins. So that pin is pulsing 80 to 100 times a second, indenting into the part, and then it just follows the vector path of, let's say, a character. We do sell some electrics, but rare, mainly pneumatic-driven pins. Those pins will wear. We can regrind those as well. But these go into some really harsh environments. Like I said, oil and gas boundaries. These machines take a beating, and then they come back, and Mike and his team will strip them down, rebuild them, and we send them right back out. So I think about 2 years ago, we had the first machine we ever sold 30 years ago. Came back, we cleaned it up, sent it right back out. What's really nice is that from the electronics perspective, although we have upgraded the electronics, the original job files on your first machine will still be can still be opened on the new controller and used. So it's a high quality machine. And then we'll have, Mike, we have a couple of here, some deep markers. So if you're looking for 10, 15 thousandths deep into material, we have these jackhammers that will go in. So a lot of those marks, oil and gas industry, on pipe that's going down hole that needs to be readable once it comes back up.
These are sent in for repairs, so you see what kind of environment they still do. They just send these in for PM so they don't go down. And we just go over and clean them up. We change all the belts, the internals, the O-rings inside here, the springs, the consumables. Let's go over everything. There's a lot of customers that have a plan where they send them in every 6 months. Going over. These two in particular, they're, like I said, it's pretty, like Dave said, it's pretty harsh environment.
Sometimes they just send us app. So our customers will send us in parts that they're looking to mark, and what our job is to start looking at the different laser technologies that we offer, look at the materials that are being sent in, work with the customer to understand what's most important. Is it depth? Is it speed? Is it clarity of the mark? And the person that does all of that is Carol Nelson. Carol is our applications engineer. Carol started with us as an intern doing research on actually plastic laser welding. And she did such a great job for us that we hired her. Now you've been here, 6, 7 years? And so all parts run through Carol. She is the person who knows all of these different lasers. As I mentioned, we have fiber-based lasers, MOPA technology, UV, green, CO2, all different wavelengths for different materials. And Carol really is that person that understands not only the technology, but also what are you looking for in that market. So Carol's going to do a few demonstrations here on the different technologies. So Carol, take it away.
Yeah, so to start, we've got our new CO2 system set up here. We're going to be working some anodized ball filters. I know I'll get to take one with you, but you grab one off that table at 30. So what's cool about the CO2 and anodized aluminum is you can actually do a non-destructive part on the ionization. If anybody's marked anodized aluminum with a fiber before, typically what you're doing is you're removing that top anodization. Which oftentimes is a good mark to do, but sometimes that anodization is there for a purpose. You don't want it removed. You don't want the metal underneath exposed. So a cool mark you can do with the CO2 is you actually just discolor that anodization without removing it. So it's not going to expose any upheaval in there after heat. So I just have to enable the laser. It gets a little loud, so I had it unenabled for a minute. So let me enable this. It's going to take a long time. Everybody's in here watching.
While Carol was doing that, after definitely we have a bunch of different samples here, different materials, metals, plastics, wood, that we've done with the different types of lasers. So after the demonstrations, certainly come take a look. Hopefully, these sparks some ideas on things that maybe you're seeing around your plant that that is them. Where we're primarily replacing labels, ink stamps, maybe even fiber Peen, where they're actually using a pen to mark parts. So a lot of that is we're replacing a very manual or chem-etch type process with lasers.
Okay, mark with the CO2. So it's nice about the CO2 lasers. If you have another laser, you're probably used to the enclosures or the glasses. The CO2, you can wear standard safety glasses. We're just 5 to 6 feet away, so everybody here should look fine. Just go ahead and we'll just add lightly grazed the top there. Right past this the other side. And kind of feel the top of that mark. It's just discolor that blue and actually remove that anodization.
So what other materials are in this?
All of your organic materials, so things like wood, glass, you can mark really well with it. Cork's the big one. You can mark plastic with it. So oftentimes when you think of marking plastic, you're traditionally aimed to do like a contrast mark. But with CO2, you do what we call melt marks. You can actually engrave into the plastic. It almost looks like a mark that was molded into the plastic. So you can etch it, you can cut plastic. It's really commonly used for what's called laser degating. And everybody, I'm sure most of you are familiar with injection molding machines. When parts come off of that, they've got a gate connected to it. So you've got to cut that gate off somehow. Lasers, the CO2 laser specifically, can be a really good option to get a nice clean cut to that gate.
That's going a little extra. Wow, good.
So that's the only one we have to mark this of the glasses, as I'd say, weak. But the next one we talk about is the all above.
These tab.
But
Sure.
if you did, like. Yeah, so over here, I'm trying to walk through the rest of it. Bill stole my thunder last round. So.
That's Bill. He likes to think about this button.
This is one of our newer lasers, the variable pulse MOPA laser. So if anybody's familiar with the standard fiber lasers, contact with this. Similar in respect in that it's a 1064 nanometer wavelength, so it's the same wavelength as the standard fiber lasers. But when you get special with the VP method is this additional setting called pulse width or sometimes pulse duration. So you can now operate between 2 to 500 nanoseconds. So having that extra setting that you can control is going to allow you to get different interactions with different materials. So you'll find there were some plastics that maybe with a standard fiber you couldn't get a super bright mark. Now with the VP MOPA you get a nice bright mark. On steels, when you anneal mark with a standard fiber, you might only get like a brassy bronze color or that dark black. You can actually get blue or even red with the VP MOPA at shorter pulse durations. You can get more highly corrosion resistance with those anneal marks. You can also operate a continuous wave with the variable pulse MOPA, so you can do welding applications. So with the same laser, you can weld a part, change the focus height, and then mark something in this way. Another really big application is this day-night marking. So anybody's familiar with like automotive buttons or the different things on the dash. But oftentimes what it is, it's a plastic with like a paint layer over it. So you can use the VP MOPA to cleanly remove that top layer of plastic without etching the bottom plastic. So when the lights shine through the car, you get that nice lit up looking button. So those shorter pulse durations essentially allow you to mark with higher peak power and just get you those different interactions. So you can engrave more cleanly, you can etch more cleanly. Typically, you can also etch and engrave faster than what we see with the standard fiber laser. So the pens over there on the table are actually a example of a day-night mark. Those. So traditionally, in the past, we've done just standard anodized aluminum pens. But these ones, we got a little bit different of material. So we did the day and night mark. You probably won't be able to see the mark when you initially pick up a pen. Then when you press the bottom,
Happy.
it's a nice little light. Yeah, that's a good example of that day-night layer ablation. So we're just heating it up just enough to remove the top layer so that something can show through the
Fast together with them.
Any questions on either of those systems or like any of the systems or specific application or the cycle?
Are those tasks included with every order that gets entered today?
Sure. They can just take one off the table now. Here, that's the
Oh, no.
So a couple of things just to wrap up in the lab. As I mentioned, what's one of the nice things about marking, obviously, is that to us, every part, every industry needs to mark and identify conclusions. So it's really nice from our perspective is we can be working with an automotive manufacturer one day, medical device, oil and gas, cosmetics, you name it. We're working with those manufacturers to understand how do we best implement a identification and a traceability type systems. And so there are some good examples here, some additional ones here of some objects in mirror. So those, I would say, we probably have about 80% of that market. So most likely, if you got your vehicle with objects in mirror, the blind spot detection, what we're using is a fiber laser to actually go through the glass. So fiber is at 1 micron. It'll actually go right through the glass and then remove the chrome backing so that we can then illuminate the rear of it so that you can then see the blind spot detection. That's a very common one for us. As Carol mentioned before too, a lot of marking on plastics, especially for medical device, where you get a nice, depending on the plastic on some type, like black automotive plastics, you're going to get almost a white type of mark. On some of the white plastics, you're going to get more of a dark mark. But that's honestly where Carol's going to come in and really understand, because we'll see two pieces of plastic two handles that look identical, but there's a difference in the mixture that causes the mark to look different. So that's where Carol comes in and understands the composition of these materials. We do a lot. We also count these. These are anyone wants one of these? But we do a lot of, this particular customer has 5 or 6 machines. They have 2 lasers per. They have one person loading the ear tags and then another person removing the ear tags. So it's all for identifying cows. This is one for a battery company that, what's interesting here is not only do we mark on this, but this is the bitter one. So if your kids put this in their mouth, it tastes bitter. I am not going to demonstrate that for you, but that was a pretty cool application for us. Another one here, sand marking. So this was for a mold company. So what we did was we engraved out the numbers, and then they'll put this in the mold so that they'll have actually an embossed number on I think this was for a railroad component. So they use this sand mold to create that embossed character. Hey, Carol, you have one there for
laser plastic welding. So this would be an example of both transmissive and direct welding. So direct welding would be 2 plastics that are both absorbent. So they're absorbent of the wavelength that you're using. So this piece and this piece, you hold them up separately, keep them up, smash them together. And then you also have what we call transmissive welding. So that's where you would have typically a darker piece that absorbs the laser light, and then usually a translucent or much lighter piece that reflects it. So you shoot the laser down through, trace that area, and then they fuse together. The nice part about laser plastic welding, it's typically a lot cleaner. You don't have as many consumables as other welding. You can get to like really crazy, intricate geometries that typical methods might not be able to accommodate for. As long as there's a path that the laser can see, it can take. Typically, you can get pretty good solid-state lasers.
I would say that's an emerging technology for us, finding more and more applications where folks are trying to look away from maybe friction welding or resistant welding. Like Carol said, to change a tool path, it's pretty simple. You just put another DXF file in and away you go. Whereas some of the other technologies want a tool and fixture customization has to go into that, which laser does up. As long as we have a compression, we're able to create that seal. All right. And again, Carol will be here. If you guys want to stop back at any point, we will be doing some training.
All right, so the last stop on the tour is really our inventory space. So as I mentioned before, we spent a lot of time over the last year and a half of getting control of our inventory. Kind of felt like our inventory was in control of us at times. So we moved everything off the floor and centralized our inventory. I would say we've really taken some significant steps up as a manufacturer here certainly over the last year. So one of those things, obviously bringing all that inventory under control. Two is implementing daily cycle counts. So we have a 99.9% inventory accuracy rate right now. So if it's in our ERP system, it's here on the shelf. So we do, as I said, daily cycle counts, making sure that those parts are here. For us, with all of our customers, we're not relying on our vendors for spare parts. So if the machine goes down, component needs to be replaced, we have it here in inventory that we're going to come out, replace those components, get you guys back up and running as quickly as possible. So we typically have anywhere from 3.5 to 4 million of inventory at any given time. And over the last 2 to 3 months, we've been working with Catalyst Connection to help us through in implementing a QMS system. So our goal here is in Q1 of 2025 to go ISO 9001. So it's a big initiative for us. I would say we've always been good from a quality perspective in our designs, in our processes, but we really want to take it up to that next level and really start to implement that quality management system here at MECCO. So it's a big initiative. I would say our production team has been doing a fantastic job. Starting with Martha back there, they implemented our QEC program, and we took it from there to try to say, how can we get better every single year? And I would say I've really been impressed with our production and operations team, really raising that bar, making sure that they're controlling your inventory, have good quality parts coming in and coming out. It's been real, I would say, transforming how we do things, a lot of the companies. Sure that the processes are that is monitoring, that is measure metric based. So I'd say it's been a great transformation for MECCO and as a whole.